And I never met the man, but I knew that he used our product. So I asked him if he would write the foreword to my book, and he said, with pleasure. And he wrote things I would never say about myself, about me. Because he trusts me to create products for people with cancer. At the time my book was being written, we were working together on those things. And so, yeah, I mean, if leading cancer doctors trust me, you know, and I don't want to brag because I didn't graduate from high school. I didn't go to college. I don't have any degrees next to my name. So according to the world, I have no credibility. But I want to tell you guys a little story. 1992, I'm sitting there and my phone rings. And it says, hi, I'm a writer for Inc. magazine. Do you know who we are? I said, yeah. You're like top financial magazine, you know, that there is. Better than the Wall Street Journal. He says, oh yeah, I'm glad you know about us. He says, well, we were just talking to the National Cancer Institute about you, and they had some things. And I'm like, excuse the expression, everybody, but I'm like, F those guys. They don't know nothing. They just want to give people drugs and radiation. And they said, well, slow your roll. He said, do you know what phytochemistry is? I said, phyto, huh? And they said, well, that's a word that just got created by the National Cancer Institute. And it means, they said, that food is more effective at fighting cancer than any drug they've ever tested. I said, huh? And he said, not only that, when I asked him who is the world's leading expert on phytochemistry, the National Cancer Institute told me you were. And I said, I don't know anybody at the National Cancer Institute. And he said, well, they sure know you. That was 1993, and that's when I realized I had come of age. That's when I realized I had arrived. Okay, because before that, they were tapping my phone, threatening to put me in jail for practicing medicine without a license because I was giving people advice with nutrition and their health issues. And I realized you can't do that. We are not doctors, you guys. We don't give advice on disease. We give advice on how people could nourish and detoxify. And your body does the rest. Okay? Ann Wigmore, one of my mentors, she said, Dave, you desperately want to be a healer, don't you? I said, yeah. She said, why? I said, so the next person's Aunt Judy doesn't die the way mine did. And she said, well, you're doing it all wrong. She said, you're studying every book, learning every big word, like, you know. She goes, that isn't where the answers are, Dave. The answers are simple. Nourish and detoxify. Get rid of the stuff in your body that's not serving it. And put stuff in your body that will serve it. It's that simple, Dave. And she said, if you just keep it simple, Sandoval, then you just turn everybody you meet into a healer. You don't have to be a healer.
Wow. Become a sage. Yeah.
And I said, wow, that takes a lot of responsibility off of me. You know? And I can't tell you how many of you came up to me, and I can't say it doesn't feel good, because it does. It's oxygen when you come up to me and say, you know, Dave, you healed me. What do I tell all of you? What did I tell all of you? No, I didn't. No, I did not. You did. I don't remember waking up in the morning and mixing you a green drink. Okay? And here's the thing. If you give me responsibility for healing you, guess who's getting blamed when you're not healed? Me. No way, guys. You're not laying that on me. If you want to be healed, you take responsibility for the amazing, awesome healer you are. Yeah. Don't give credit to somebody else. You're the one who made the decision. You're the one who healed. So don't you dare put that on me. Okay? I'm a farmer. I grow food. I provide food. I just happen to provide the best damn food this world's ever seen. Now, Carrie Drinkwine, are you here? No. Okay. So is she a legitimate badass or what? Yes. Right? She runs a center for regenerative healing. That means if you got crushed by a horse and you can't walk and the doctors can't help you, you find her. Okay? And when Carrie Drinkwine tells you that your foods are the most regenerating, rejuvenating foods that she's found, and her clinic couldn't be what it is without rejuvenative foods, it makes you feel pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You see, our body just needs to regenerate and rejuvenate. And all plants have three things. They have blocking, suppressing, and repairing agents. And why do they have them? So they can survive. This grass right here, something's gonna come and poop on it, right? The sun's gonna shine on it all day. There might even be, who knows, a fire over there and soot and smoke, ash might fall on it. And this plant has designed defenses for all of that, for all of that. It's ready to deal with E. coli from the poop, right? It's ready to keep itself from freezing when it gets cold. It's ready to protect itself from the heat when it gets hot. All that stuff is called phytochemistry. The National Cancer Institute coined that word in 1992. Phyto means plant. Chemistry means the chemicals in the plant that keep it healthy. And what we do is we tap into that energy. We say, thank you, blueberry, right? We say, thank you, wheatgrass, okay? Because those plants, because they survived, okay? What, over millions of years, right? That means they dealt with all the stress that this earth has to offer, and they survived. So can't we learn something from those plants? That's phytochemistry. So anyway, next question.
I have one. Can you elaborate on the ingredients, raspberry flavoring, and I think it's lemon flavoring, right?
Yeah.
Raspberry
So why
flavoring.
does it say raspberry flavor instead of just raspberry? If you want it to taste like raspberries. Has anybody here ever eaten dehydrated raspberry powder? Doesn't taste like raspberries. But if you dehydrate strawberry powder and a little bit of turmeric and a little bit of this, you can mix them together and it actually tastes like a raspberry. And there's amazing people who sit all day just mixing organic, raw, vegan, awesome ingredients together and see what they taste like. And it's rare that a strawberry that's dehydrated actually tastes like a strawberry. If you want it to taste like a ripe strawberry, you actually have to use other types of fruits, some bark of this, you know, and that thing that we call raspberry flavor is organic, raw, vegan, an amazing thing. But because of what it takes to give the flavor profiles. Now, when you're not into raw, organic, pure, amazing foods, then you do that with chemicals, you see? So like if you get a raspberry flavor, there's no raspberries in that either, but they did the same thing. They said if we mix this chemical and that chemical and that chemical and that chemical, it'll taste like raspberry. So we just said if you mix this phytochemical and that phytochemical, we just took out, so we're just using different chemicals, but ours are from plants because that's all things are. They're proteins, they're carbohydrates, they're fats, and so we just mix different plant flavors. So believe it or not, strawberry and lime actually tastes more like raspberry than raspberry does. And if you add a little bit of something else, like a mint leaf or something, believe it or not, then it takes on the flavor of a fruit. And nobody knows why, but these chemists who are masters at this, and we're really lucky to have 2 or 3 of the best who, at our disposal. But the answer is every ingredient is non-soy, right? Organic, plant-based, and it just so happens that we can't know exactly the secret sauce that makes it taste like raspberry, because raspberries dehydrated don't taste like raspberries.
Can you just extrapolate a tiny bit on why it's proprietary so everyone understands why we can't see it instantaneously?
It's proprietary because if you write a song, you own that song, right? And other people may play it, but they can't own it, right? And so this is somebody's intellectual property. They worked really hard for years maybe to make something taste exactly like raspberry. And if everybody knew how to do it, another company would do it and they would be making the money that this person deserves because they wrote that song. As an artist, I knew you'd understand that.
I do.
Yes.
Just to go off
Yeah.
the guar gum in the matcha and business. One of my VPs was like curious, she didn't want to recommend it to her clients, and I told her, I assured her, like, Dave has a reason why she puts these ingredients in there, but I would just like to elaborate on the guar gum.
So the guar gum is there. First of all, I think guar gum is a little bit overused, but it's not unhealthy.
Okay.
In fact, of all the gums, it's the only gum that I actually use. If you look, there's no other gums except for guar. Okay. And the only exception is like acacia gum, which is a prebiotic. So in the barks of trees, just like maple syrup, there's a lot of good stuff in the barks of trees, right? The Native Americans found what they thought was a cure for cancer in the barks of trees, right? So, so barks of trees have a lot of good stuff, but they're highly processed sometimes. And most of the gums that you see, tick gum and all those, really highly processed. And that's why you don't want to use them. But guar gum is not highly processed, and what it does is it makes things seem thicker, and it helps stuff, nutrients bind to your intestines. So it goes in and it sticks to your intestines so that your nutrients are absorbed slower throughout the day instead of all at once. So it's like a time release mechanism. And so now that's why we use it. Other companies use it because it's a great thickening agent. So it's used in ice creams, especially, right? And so people go, this stuff's in ice cream. Why is it in my Power Shake?
Right.
And the reason why is because we use it for the purpose of binding nutrients and letting them absorb slowly through the intestinal wall. Like we used to use activated barley for that, but then people were allergic to gluten, so we couldn't use that anymore. So we had to go out with the activated barley and in with the guar gum because it's gluten-free.
Amazing, thank you.
Okay, but no other gums. Yeah. But she's right. It's overused. I mean, especially in candy, ice creams, cakes. But we don't eat a lot of those, you know. So, okay. Thank you. Hello. What's your name?
Joanne Broom.
Thanks, Joanne. I don't remember seeing you, so I'll just hear you.
My question was, the bioregion has also the super xanthan in it, right? I was wondering how many milligrams, because if someone's taking super xanthan already,
yes,
and they want to take bioregion too for the SOD,
yes,
they're wondering if that would be like too much or wasting it.
So I read the studies, you know, on what because astaxanthin's so good, I wanted to take a lot of it, you know? So I wanted to find out what the upper limit was on safety. And at first, I don't know if you remember, because it's such a new product, at first they said the upper limit was like 4 milligrams. And I'm like, what? Like, I've been taking 8, you know? But now that's gone. They no longer think that. It's up to 10 milligrams a day.
Oh, up to 10.
Yeah, so I read that too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? So I kept looking for more science, and that wasn't a very big study. It was preliminary, and it was just, they have to be sure.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But the company that we get our astaxanthin from is the most awesome. It's a Japanese pharmaceutical company, but they're not like a pharmaceutical company. They really care about, you know, about what we care about.
Right.
And they've done, and they do, yeah, it's just amazing. Our astaxanthin is, I think, the most important nutritional discovery of my lifetime.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
You know,
Amazing.
because everything else we knew about already. What else has been discovered in the last 50 years that we didn't know about before? You know what I mean? So yeah, astaxanthin is amazing. I mean, tart cherry is a close second.
Right.
You know what I mean?
SOD, right? Was
Yeah.
discovered recently.
Well, superoxide dismutase, though, has been used in science for like 100 years, though.
Oh, okay.
Because superoxide dismutase was used to keep cows and horses from going bad with arthritis, and then they started thinking, maybe we should use it for humans, you know? Yeah. So, yes. Oh, I'm going to go here and then to you.
I just wanted everybody to hear this, because last night I asked Dave a question about being part of the organic movement, and I think it's something that, you know, you should share about how we got here and why we're just so pure.
So, so I went through a really crazy journey in my life. Some of you know it, where my aunt died, and I was told that it was because of the food she ate, and I hated food. I just thought food must be like poison. So I went on this journey of being a vegetarian, and that led me to being a vegan, and then that led me to being a raw food vegan, and that led me to being a fruitarian.